Have you guys ever heard of the seven deadly sins before? They originated from the book of Proverbs in the Bible. It's a list of sins that are supposedly hated by God: lust, gluttony, greed, jealousy, all things that will make your life miserable. I find it rather interesting and also ironic at the same time which sin comes in at number 7 on the list. Pride. Now, we can sit here and debate all day whether homosexuality is considered to be a sin by God. Some people believe it is, some believe it's a choice. Others believe it's perfectly acceptable that you're born that way. Now, me personally, I've never really put that much thought into it one way or another because it doesn't affect me. But I find it rather interesting that the seventh deadly sin, pride, is what the LGBT community chooses to promote. The LGBT movement is supposedly dedicated to inclusion. We welcome everyone. All people are equal and included. As is the case with the mythical R word, there seems to be some confusion about what inclusion actually means. Churches are supposed to be inclusive. Churches are supposed to welcome any and everyone inside the building. No questions asked, no judgment. Nothing should be required of you. There's one church that claims to be inclusive. There's one church that claims everyone is welcome, but there's a little caveat to that claim. You got to read the fine print first. Woke United Methodist is open to inclusion only if you're in 100% compliance. Dissenting thoughts and opinions, not allowed. Resistance to the agenda, not allowed. Last month, members of Woke United Methodist celebrated Woke Christmas. For 30 days, there were gay pride parades, woke hug celebrations. Grocery stores ran out of cucumbers. Bath and Body Works ran out of hand lotion. Twitter was forced to increase capacity on their servers to accommodate the community circle jerks. Teams across Major League Baseball, the NFL, and NBA dipped their logos in the rainbow. Groups of players, they agreed to taste the rainbow. Down in Australia, 1 month, that wasn't enough time to celebrate. 30 days wasn't enough time to celebrate the ecstasy of woke love. The Manly Sea Eagles, they play in the National Rugby League down in Australia. Thursday night, they're playing in their biggest game of the season, could determine whether or not they make the playoffs. As of right now, 7 players are refusing to suit up. Why? Because without warning, the club's management announced yesterday morning that they were requiring their players to wear new jerseys. Like teams across America did last month, Manly dipped their jersey in the rainbow. They released a catchy little video for their announcement. Watch it for yourself. If that video didn't play, if the video was removed, it was due to copyright reasons, and I just don't feel like fighting a company across the world to be able to show the video. So if it was removed, that's the reason why. But you have to remember, management gave the players no warning about this. They didn't ask their opinion. They didn't ask if anyone had an issue with it. Management made a decision, and the people most affected by the decision, the players wearing the jersey, heard about the news like you and I did. A group of 7 players for Manly saw the video and they said, "Fuck you. If we are required to wear those jerseys, we're not going to play." They cited their religious beliefs as the reason they're refusing to wear the jerseys. And as expected, the woke media in Australia, they're extremely pissed off about this. This is religious persecution. I'm so fucking tired of these Christians using their faith as an excuse to not promote the gay. This notion is the definition of hypocrisy. Can you imagine the outrage if Manly required their players to wear jerseys featuring the face of Jesus or maybe a cross? If a player was uncomfortable promoting Christianity, the woke media would defend him. He doesn't believe in Jesus. Why should he be forced to promote something he doesn't believe? But when the roles are reversed and religious people or heterosexual people are uncomfortable promoting the gay, they expect 100% compliance. If you express your discomfort or if you outright refuse to comply, they label you homophobic. They push the narrative that you hate gay people or you're afraid of gay people. Between yesterday afternoon and this morning, I spent about an hour reading reactions in the Australian media. I never came across one single argument that was convincing. The designer of these jerseys, Dynasty Sport, they explained the messaging behind it. Sports are supposed to be without exclusion. This jersey is a representation of that. How? Someone please explain to me, how in the fuck forcing people into discomfort by wearing a jersey they don't want to wear represents inclusion? Seems to me it represents exclusion. The jersey only represents a tiny portion of the overall population in Australia. According to a recent survey, only 3 to 4% of the population of Australia identifies as an identifier. 3 to 4% are LGBT community members. So please fucking explain to me how isolating the other 97% of the population represents inclusion. 3 years ago, Israel Folau, he was kicked out of the National Rugby League. Now, I don't know anything about rugby, but from the little bit I read about him, he seems like he was a star player. Now, what was his crime? Why was he kicked out of rugby? He posted this image to Instagram. Now, I'm not a religious scholar, but I'd be willing to bet Israel Folau is a devout Christian. Many devout Christians, they feel like they're required to tell people about Jesus. It's no different than lovers of butt bongo feeling the need to preach the good word about the proper use of cucumbers and pronouns. They're allowed to preach the good word. They're allowed to display their pride. Seems only fair to me. Israel Folau should have the right to do the same thing with his religion. He posts a list of some of the more common sins in Christianity and tells people that hell awaits them. Now, is this something that I would post personally? No, I wouldn't do it. Do I find it to be offensive? I'm a drinker. I rarely get drunk. Happens maybe once or twice a year. Am I offended that Israel Folau claims that hell awaits me? No, that's his personal belief. He's allowed to share it. But the National Rugby League, they felt differently. Which of those common sins do you think they focused on? Well, KC, it's rather obvious. They were pissed off that he offended atheists. You guys already know which one. They focused on the one supposed sin that affects 3 to 4% of the Australian population. They kicked him out of the league. Does that sound like inclusion to you? They essentially ended his career because of his faith, because of his beliefs. That sounds like exclusion. But KC, he was attacking marginalized people. Oh, really? That word marginalized, there it is again. That word marginalized. That's another term where there seems to be some confusion about the definition. According to my trusty Google dictionary, marginalized means to be treated as insignificant. I'm not familiar with the culture of Australia, but I am incredibly familiar with society in America. Now, you tell me, which group is more marginalized in this country, Christians or alphabeters? Every year, which Christmas gets attacked by the woke media? The real Christmas in December or the identifier's Christmas in June? If an alphabeter posted a tweet that said, "I hate God," what would be the repercussions? Would there be any punishment at all? Israel Folau posts about hell for sinners. He loses his fucking job. One of the media outlets in Australia claimed, it's not like they're requiring straight players to wear jerseys that say, "I like gay sex." Isn't that exactly what the rainbow flag represents? It's called homosexuality. There is one key difference between gay and straight men. Gay men prefer cucumbers, straight men prefer peaches. That's the only difference separating the two. How would identifiers feel if they were forced to wear the heterosexual flag, if that fucking thing even exists? Australian media, They also labeled this group of players as hypocrites because they've worn jerseys with gambling sites and alcohol brands all season, hadn't had a problem with it. Both of those ruin lives. These assholes are hypocrites. Number one, those are called sponsors. They pay to advertise on the jerseys. But number two, alcohol and gambling, they do ruin lives when people do them in excess. You could call it gluttony, one of the 7 deadly sins. You know what else ruins lives in excess? Fast food or food in general. Should they not be allowed to wear jerseys with the McDonald's logo? The same people accusing these 7 players of discrimination are the people guilty of discriminating. This morning, Manly management issued an apology. Did they apologize to the players for not giving them a warning, a heads up about this? Nope. Did they apologize to the players for possibly offending them by forcing them to wear this jersey? Nope. You know who got the apology? The fucking alphabeters. Oh, we are so sorry. We were trying to promote your lifestyle. We know this backlash has caused you significant pain. Please, I beg you, don't take back my invitation to the Bongo Fiesta. I have been prepping myself all week for insertion. What an embarrassment. How many times can you fuck up in 48 hours? As of right now, the players are standing their ground. They're not playing Thursday night. Matter of fact, according to the Daily Mail, more players have joined the protest, and good for them. It is time people start standing up to the bullshit. And this has nothing to do with the LGBT community. Like I say all the time, they're just being used to promote an agenda. This has absolutely nothing to do with them or their lifestyle. It has everything to do with people standing up when people in power are trying to force you into compliance. But let me know what you think. Rugby players in Australia take a stand against the agenda. I wish we saw more of that here in America. We did see an example of that last month with the Tampa Bay Rays, but we don't see it enough here at home. Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys later.